Before we get into anything, I just want to thank Ivy for this incredible print. Look at this. What kind of frame should I put this in? I feel like it needs something special. If this is something that you like and you would like to support an artist, I'll put a link in the description. I hope that's okay. I don't know why that wouldn't be okay. But today I wanted to talk about Kirby Dach. When the news broke that Kirby Dach filed for salary arbitration, the reactions came fast and emotionally, I think. A lot of fans assumed immediately that he was asking for more money. Others took it as a sign that the relation between the Canadiens and Dach has soured, and some suggested that a trade must be off the table now for Dach. But that's not how salary arbitration works. I want to set the record straight in this video. So today, let's break down what salary arbitration is, why Kirby Dach would choose this route despite already getting a qualifying offer, and what it means for his future in Montreal. So let's talk about it.
Walk in, take it, and just walk out.
Stop. Oh yeah!
In reality, filing for arbitration is often just part of the business side of hockey. It sets a deadline, it creates some leverage for negotiations. And in many cases, the hearing never actually happens before both sides agree to a contract beforehand. Now, before we go any further, before we talk about what salary arbitration is, because there is a lot of confusion surrounding it, I'm seeing it online, I'd like to urge you to subscribe. We are well on our way to 27,000 subscribers. The support recently has been incredible. Thank you so much. And I'd also like you to hear a word from our sponsors. If you're into hockey cards, sports cards, or just collecting in general, you definitely need to check out Slab Sharks. Let's take a look at some of these auctions that are up there right now. These are some nasty grails. I would love this Future Watch auto of Nathan MacKinnon. But hold on, here's an Ivan Demidov FWAP. Only 100 of these babies ever made. Which reminds me, let's look for Ivan Demidov cards. Slab Sharks is a great place to find some deals as a buyer. If you're looking for an Ivan Demidov rookie card, you can actually find a steal or two here. But as a buyer, I find that Slab Sharks will signal boost your posts, and I've seen cards go for more than what they typically go for, usually the higher end cards. They've also got their own app, which makes it super easy to submit your own cards, watch your auctions, and track your sales from cards that aren't part of your PC and are just collecting dust. So if you want to support the channel, check out Slab Sharks using the link in the description below. Download the app and see what they've got. And if you got a ridiculous card to sell, tell me about it. Thank you, Slab Sharks. It's been over a year that Slab Sharks has been sponsoring my channel. Thank you so much. And thank you all so much for clicking on that link in the description or posted as a comment, because it shows that Slab Sharks is a platform that's of interest to my audience. So, arbitration. When a player files for arbitration, it isn't the same as demanding a raise. It doesn't mean that negotiations have broken down. It doesn't mean that the player wants out. More often than not, it's just a way of setting a deadline. It forces both sides to negotiate on a deal or have an independent arbitrator decide the salary. That's why I don't think that filing for arbitration should be viewed as some sort of a statement by Kirby Dach. It's business, nothing more than that. I've seen people calling him greedy because his qualifying offer is already at the $4 million mark. But that's not really how any of this works. Filing for arbitration doesn't automatically mean you're demanding more money. He's protecting his position, preserving his rights, and letting the process play out. If I were in his shoes, I would do the exact same thing. But let me throw this wrench into the works. People need to remember that arbitration doesn't mean a trade can't happen. If Kent Hughes is actively exploring the market for Dach, and there have certainly been rumors about that, he could still be traded before his arbitration takes place, and then the acquiring team takes over the arbitration talks. So if you thought that him filing for arbitration suddenly meant that he's staying in Montreal, that's not necessarily true. Which brings me to the bigger question. Do you actually see Kirby Dach as a Montreal Canadien long-term? With the current trajectory of where this team is going, do you think that Kirby Dach is part of the future? It's a fascinating debate because there are really two versions of Kirby Dach. There is the player we see often, the individual who can't stay healthy, whose development has been interrupted year after year by injuries. And then there's the player we see on the ice. This past season, he recorded over a goal every 60 minutes while producing nearly 2 points per 60. That's right in the butter zone. That's where you want to be as a second line player. Add to the fact that he's 6'4", he carries the puck well, he can skate, he's demonstrated real play driving ability, and you start to understand why he is a desirable player in the NHL. The problem's never been about talent for Kirby Dach. It's the availability. It's the most important skill you can have is to be available. If you're not available, you're not very useful. His injuries have had a massive impact on his career. Obviously, they've interrupted his development, affected his confidence, I think, in some accounts, and made it incredibly difficult for him to maintain any consistency. But I also don't think those injuries should define the rest of his career forever. Players do recover. Players do put injury-plagued starts behind them. Sometimes it happens out of nowhere, but usually it happens once that player has relocated to a different market. You kind of get what I'm going after here? I'm looking at it from Dach's perspective. I'm not sure I'd want to lock myself into a long-term contract right now, but if I did, it probably wouldn't be at $4 million at what's supposed to be the top years of my playing career. If another team does acquire him, I'd seriously consider signing a bridge deal, a prove-it type contract, and then bet on yourself, stay healthy, show everyone you can do it for at least a full season, then cash in once you've reestablished your value. Because let's be honest, in this economy, if Kirby Dach plays healthy and plays like we've seen him play in stretches, this market, a center, 6'4", gotta be worth more than $4 million per year. At the same time, if you're the Canadiens, do you want to bet on Dach again? I certainly don't think it's a long-term commitment, and I don't think it's for much more than $4 million a year. So it's a balancing act. It is tough. Both sides have reasons to be cautious. I've been really critical of Kirby Dach in the past. I've questioned whether or not all of injuries have just been bad luck or whether durability is part of what makes him a player that isn't always available. I don't think that those questions are unfair. It's definitely not a healthy way to think of it. It shouldn't be the way you think about every player who is injured often, but it's certainly part of the conversation. I think it's only fair to recognize that, and that in this situation, he's doing exactly what most players would do. He's using the tools that are available to him through the collective bargaining agreement. This is things that have been agreed on. He's asking questions about his values. He's looking out for his own interests, and that's completely understandable. And as always, I think that the Montreal Canadiens will handle it professionally. Whether they ultimately sign him, trade him, let the process play out, I don't think that there's going to be bad blood here. So now I want to throw it over to you. What do you see in Kirby Dach's future? Do you think the Canadiens should sign him for one more year, or do you think that they're past that? Let me know in the comments because, yeah, maybe it's just me, but this is actually pretty interesting crossroads. That is going to do it for me though, guys. Thank you again so much for your continued support. I really appreciate you guys so much. It's been a fun off season. It's been a crazy off season, and I just wonder what's going to be happening around the next corner. So as always, like the video, helps me out with search results probably. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I would love to have you as part of this community. And as always, I will see you down in the comments. I couldn't wait. I went out and bought a picture frame. I find that looks really good. Okay, that's going to do it. Check you later.